Welcome back, guys, and today I'll be going through some investments that are going to make you a ton of coins in EAFC. So if you're new around here and you want to make those coins while you're not playing the game, maybe you don't have enough time to trade, you are in the right place. Of course, guys, we're still giving away 9 sets of FIFA points. All you've got to do is subscribe and send proof over on Instagram. And guys, if you do want to get some coins in a bit of a quicker way, well, if you guys are fed up of coming against nicks like me and foot champs who use loans and OP cards from day one,
I'm getting really sick of you! Get out now!
Then you need to head over to MitchCactus.com, where not only can you buy the cheapest and most reliable FIFA coins on the EA market, you'll find over 10,000 reviews from people who have used the services and enjoyed them in the past. So make sure to head over to MitchCactus.com and use code RECALL for 5% off. First of all, guys, we're going to talk about Sunday trading and how we are going to make coins in the market using foot champs. So essentially, every Sunday, people who have bought their teams for weekend league sell off their entire team and a lot of players drop. You've got the likes of Haaland, Neymar, Messi. Big players who everyone's going to want to use are going to drop a ton. Now, of course, you need to pick your budget and what you're going to do to invest on this day. And we're getting in a few days early. It's Wednesday. You have a ton of time to prepare yourself and make these investments. Of course, first of all, if you've got the budget, Erling Haaland is going to be an easy one because every single week he is going to be picked for so many teams. We can see right now he's at 150,000 coins. That's going to drop massively on that Sunday when these teams are being sold off. Now, you might say, okay, well, I don't have 150k. There are tons of players that you can use. You're just going to want to find the meta players in every position. So if we go down and find Mendy, of course, we've got Eduardo Mendy, not the right Mendy. That's me easily getting confused. But if we head over to Mendy, we go Furland. Of course, you've got him sitting around the kind of 70k mark. So you've got Haaland on that 160. If you've got maybe a few million coins, you might want to pick up 4 or 5 of him on Sunday when he goes down to maybe 120. Now, if you've only got a few 100k, you probably want to go with the likes of Mendy, where he's 70,000 coins. He's probably going to drop. I mean, what's the cheapest we can get him at right now? About 75. So 74, realistically, Sunday he probably goes down to 60. Now that's going to pick up as the week goes on, and you don't have to sell him immediately. Now what you can do during this period is, of course, go for specials, heroes, gold rares, but you're going to go for the players who are meta, the players who you're going to see in teams. So for example, another one, same position, is Hernandez. So if we go for Hernandez, he's also another one where he's going to shoot down and shoot up. And a good pairing to go with him, if we do find him, Teo there, let's have a look. He's currently going for, I think, 50k, so he's kind of that tier down, a little bit cheaper than Mendy. A good pairing for him is Leao. So obviously Leao and Hernandez will probably be in a lot of teams together, and those two will shoot down equally. Now, of course, we've got standard Leao. We want to go for the gold one, not for the special one. Standard Leao is actually sat at around 50k as well, so you could pick up a few of that pairing of Teo and Leo, and you'd be getting quite a decent profit from it. And realistically, they're both very meta cards. They're both really usable still at this point in the game, even though we're a little bit further on in the game cycle. Then you want to go for, of course, players like Smith. So she's a good one as well. Once again, very meta, very easy to see where that profit is going to come up. We want Sophia Smith, not Kelly Smith. So what you can do on the lower end is go for Sophia. Now, as you can see, she's actually around the 45k mark right now. She was as low as 35k, 30k, even 28 to 29 on that Sunday last week. So you know this card is going to go down and, of course, shoot back up. Now, if you do have the budget for it, you may want to have a look at her special card. If we have a look here, you've got a few of these. They're around 500,000 coins. Now, realistically, her special card is not going to be as desirable in terms of not as many people can afford to get it. But let's have a look. You've got to at least put the special on there. Let's have a look how many are up. So you've got 500k coming up a lot here, 500, couple there. It is edging that this card is going to go down a little bit more in price, obviously, over the next coming weeks. But on that Sunday, it's going to be at an all-time low. I would assume that we can probably get it for below that 500k mark, which currently you just cannot get it for. Now, of course, all of these investments that you pick up on the Sunday are going to take a couple of days in order for these to recoup your investment. So let's say you go for a Haaland and you want to list him up. Let's say by Wednesday, that's when you're going to make your profit. Maybe you've got to wait a few days, but you want the coin sooner. What you can do is lazy list. Now, lazy listing is something you should be doing with any tradable players in your club that have any sort of worth. So if we go into my club here, we're going to go for value high to low. We're just going to have a search here and see where, obviously, we've got to get through all these crappy loans, but we're going to see what I have in order for potential profit. So let's go through here. We've got, as you can see, I've got the likes of Lamptey. Now, of course, I'm using him currently for a squad builder, which will be out in the coming days. But what I could be doing right now is listing him at maybe, let's say 95k every single day. Let's say Ruben Diaz. I've got him. He's not an investment. investment. I've literally just got him because I need the spare cards and potentially I'll use him in an SBC in future. Now, you don't want to be doing this around the 6 o'clock mark, of course, because that's when SBCs come out. But we're going to take a look at Footbin. He's right now going for 38k. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list him for 45. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to sell for 45. Of course, it would be very silly for someone to buy him for that value. However, people constantly are lazy in foot. People don't want to spend the time to check the pricing. So what you could do is check that pricing first, overlist, and consistently keep overlisting. Don't stop, just consistently overlist that card. Once it lists, it finishes that hour, it doesn't sell, you list again, and you keep doing that. Obviously, we've got the likes of Van Dijk here, for example. Now, I did buy him for 300k, probably a lot less now. I've had him for quite some time, but the reality is I could list him at 300k every single day if I wanted to. When I'm not playing games, I mean, me personally, I work quite a lot. I spend a lot of my day at work. I'm not playing FIFA 24/7. If we look at my team, what do I have tradable? Well, actually, not a lot, to be honest, but we've got the likes, of course, of Van Dijk, and realistically, if I was to sell him for 300k, it would just be money in my pocket. I could buy that Van Dijk card later on. Now, of course, for some of you got that sentimental value of the card, it doesn't really matter. You can get that card sold on, make a bit of profit, and recoup your investment and go again. Now, other things you might want to invest in on Sunday, I would say, is fodder. We've got the likes of 87s, 88s, 89s. There are a ton of cards that realistically you want to get at their all-time low. Now, of course, we do want to check Footbin for this occasionally because Footbin can be very, very helpful. You've got the cheapest by rating section, which obviously right now says that 86s are about 12.8k, and I can't believe I'm seeing this, but Ronaldo is the cheapest one. We've got 87 rated at about 17k, 88 at 25. Now, right now, if you were going to invest, I would actually suggest if you want to go for the likes of, for example, Modric, you want to be picking him up at maybe 16k if you can in order to do an investment of him as an 87. Now, the reality is he's worth a little bit more than that right now, but sniping exists, and that's what a lot of my channel contains, so it's definitely something you can do. If you can snipe him right now, I would suggest holding off until we find one of these big SBCs that is definitely going to be coming. Of course, we've got the triple threat promo coming, and we can see that there is the availability to get these cards. Now, I don't think you're going to win every single Luka Modric snipe. It's going to take a little bit of work, but the reality is it's worth the work. You're going to make a decent profit off of any investment you make on higher value cards at the minute or higher rated cards, because we're not getting a lot of fodder to, you know, the general user. You know, for myself, I buy a lot of packs that are extravagant, you know, these 300k, 200k, but the general user doesn't have a lot of fodder right now. So you can take advantage of that. Keep your fodder. Anything tradable, I would suggest keeping. Anything snipeable, I would suggest sniping. Of course, you might have to spend a little bit of time in order to grab a Modric like this, but it's definitely worth it. There's clearly a lot of Modric's going up, so I'm probably going to have to snipe that a little bit more throughout the night in order to get myself a good one, but you can see the point. Now, you might not want to go for Modric, you might want to go for some other cards, and of course, you can pick which fodder card that you want to go for. What I would suggest is if you go on Footbin and find cheapest by rating, do not go for the most recent cards or the most recent listings, because that's what everyone's going to be going for. Now, if we have a look through here, we want to have a look at the challenges. Of course, we've got Centurion 6 and 5, which I need to favourite because they're definitely worth doing. We've had the UEFA marquee matchups, which I would also advise any of you doing because it is such a good return on investment, similar to marquee. In terms of preparing for the marquee matchups, in the coming week that we've got, it's definitely worth having a look at a few of the big games that you can see. Of course, this week they went for Chelsea-Tottenham. We've got Dortmund versus Bayern. I think it would be a shoe-in almost to have Chelsea-City, but they've just had Chelsea in the recent marquee matchups. It's unlikely for them to do that. But of course, we're going to have a gap in the game. So of course, the next match day is going to be the 25th of November. So marquee matchups may be a little bit of a jumble, most likely nations. So it might be worth having a look at picking up some French, Brazil, English, etc. players, those kind of top nations that we usually see when they change out marquee matchups. It's worth having a look. Now, if you have enjoyed this video or you use any of the investment tips, drop a like down below. Of course, subscribe, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.